Po, I am Herman Garcia. Me and my wife Yos are the chapter servant for A3. So today we will discuss how to strengthen our family life. Brother Rene have discussed about our covenant in Couples for Christ. And number 2 is prayer in scripture. So again, strengthening family life. Brothers and sisters, this is very important to all of us. We know that Couples for Christ is a Christian family life renewal ministry. And we want to support not just couples, but to strengthen our families as well. The strength of our families in Couples for Christ will determine the extent that the Lord can use us for His purpose. We came to this community not by accident, but we were called and chosen by God, not only as couples, but to teach and strengthen our children. The family is the basic unit or a foundation of the society. The condition of individual families will determine the condition of society. Like what St. Augustine said, peace in society depends upon the peace in the family. Everything, lahat ho nanggagaling sa family. Everything starts right there. Our work of strengthening family life is the best way for us to work for the moral regeneration of society. Like what Saint Teresa said, what can you do to promote world peace? Go home and love your family. Yun ang sinabi ni Mother Teresa. Go home and love your family. Because everything starts right there. The family, the husband and wife. But how can we strengthen our family life? There are 7 ways of strengthening family life. Number 1, understand better the meaning of our commitment to our spouses in marriage. Marriage is a relationship of commitment and service. Please remember, commitment and service. It is not based merely on emotion. Hindi lang yung sabi niya, type ko siya, papakasalan ko na siya. Hindi ganon. It's a commitment that we put ourselves to one another. But on covenant fidelity, a lifetime commitment. Remember, when we got married, please look at your spouses. If your spouse is not here, just think about, walang tumitingin sa mga asawa nila. Remember our marriage. We promise each other to have and to hold from this day forward, for better or for worse, for richer or poorer, in sickness and in health, until death do us part. It's so beautiful, brothers and sisters, and that is the commitment. That is the covenant that both the husband and wife made to our God. That's why, remember, when we are not in CFC, I told my wife, you're number 1. But after joining Couples for Christ, I'm sorry to tell you, you're only number 2. Because God is number 1. God is always number 1. Commitment and service means entrusting oneself completely to other. It is denying oneself for the good of the other. We need to recognize that we are first committed to God. Therefore, our feelings, likes and dislikes, and our will are all subordinated to God's will and plan for us. There's a story of a couple. The husband died, and on the way to the gravesite, the pallbearer accidentally dropped the coffin. And the husband miraculously came to life. he lived one more year, but then the following year, the husband passed away again. When it's time for him to be buried, the wife told the pallbearers to be careful so as not to drop the coffin again, so he will not come to life again. You know, it's a funny story, brothers and sisters, but hope we are not like that couple. Oh, it's better that I don't see her. I'm very peaceful. Brothers and sisters, remember, in sickness, in health, in hard times, in good times, always remember that. We must love and understand each other. During moments of difficulty, we as a couple can turn to the Lord and not turn away from Him. We recognize that God is the architect of our marriage and knows how best for it to work. Hindi pa tayo pinapanganak, alam na ni Lord kung sino mapapangasawa natin. Maski kababata natin, katumbang preso natin, sinisilipan natin nung mabata pa tayo, classmate natin, in the end, kayo pala ang magiging mag-asawa. In Matthew 11, 20 to 30, "Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and lowly in heart, and you'll find rest for your souls, for my yoke is easy and my burden is light." The second way of strengthening family life is live more fully the principles of Christian personal relationship. Before we are husband and wife, we are brothers and sisters in the Lord. Christian marriage is just one kind of Christian personal relationship. As in any Christian relationship, we ought to manifest in our daily living the fruit of the Spirit. We are to love and serve each other, to handle our feelings in the right way, and so on. We have to have a little bit of sacrifice. Like what Mother Teresa said, give your hands to serve, but use your heart to love. Remember that, brothers and sisters. Busy ako eh. May ginagawa ako eh. That's not an excuse. Drop your martilyo or whatever and take care of your wife. Minsan nga, isusubong mo na lang, gusto niya, o sige sa'yo nga, makakatiis pa ako. Diba? The demand of Christian personal relationship is more than just the practice of human virtues. We are called to unconditional love and service. In Matthew 5:44, "But I tell you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you, that you may be children of your Father in heaven. He causes His sun to rise." Now let's go to the third way of strengthening family life. Make the home a center of family life. In many families, the relationship between parents and children is much weaker than it should be. Parents are not sufficiently available to their children. They are often preoccupied and inaccessible physically and psychologically. Children are resistant to direction and indifferent to parents' wishes, values, and beliefs. Ask yourself, why? One reason is because the home is no longer the center of work, education, and care for the sick. Consequently, it is no longer full of activities that are essential for life and which involve parents and children together. Nababawasan na yung ating relationships sa children natin if we are so busy. Thus, families should develop opportunities to expand the range of tasks, service, and activities in more ways in the home, in ways that bring parents and children together. We must make our home not merely a physical structure, but a place where family members experience love, warmth, and encouragement. Parents needs to decide to bring back life in the home and make time for family meals, family recreation, shared chores. Remember when you were growing up? O Rene, itapon mo nga yung basura. Hindi ba yan dapat na ginagawa mo araw-araw? Anong ginagawa mo? O. O sige. Tandaan mo, bukas uli. Ha? Hindi pwede. You know, o sige, hindi ka kasama, magpipiknik kami sa Sabado. Di ba yung gano'n, yung our relationship? Wala tuloy ako. The important elements is not so much the activity itself, but the quality and development of relationship. Let's go to the fourth way of strengthening family life. Interact with Christian families. Not only has parent-child interaction in home been reduced, but interaction between the generations outside the home has also declined. In employment, educational, and recreational setting, people are placed with their age peers and are isolated from people who are much older or younger. This in turn is a major contributor to the weakening of the parent-child relationship, especially parents' ability to train children once they reach school age. Thus, Christian families should find ways to share life with one another by working together, having a social life together, and helping one another in practical ways that involve people of various ages. Some practical activities, especially here in Couples for Christ, joint Lord Day celebration. Let's make sure that all our children are present. I mean, you remember the Lord's Day celebration is a preparation to hear Mass the following day. So make sure all the kids are there on a Saturday. Going on vacation together, family outings. We are blessed already in such a network of families in Couples for Christ. With our family ministries, something for everyone in the family. We have KFC, YFC, and so on and so forth. We can have more activities together. We know we do not stand alone in our desire to strengthen Christian family living. The fifth way of strengthening family life is to exercise greater control over the family use of media and of time. Social media has almost unlimited access to many families. A lot of people are more scared of losing the Wi-Fi, the internet, Facebook. They fear those rather than fearing COVID. Oh, COVID lang yan. Isang injection lang yan. Ayos na yan. Pero Wi-Fi. May COVID na nga ako. Wala pang Wi-Fi. Paano yun? Gadgets and phones are not bad because they help us connect with people far away from us. We were able to talk to our parents in the Philippines. But sadly, gadgets also become the obstacles for us to communicate with people in front of us or beside us. There's a picture of one family in the dining table. Guess what they are doing? Each of them are doing their cell phone, family dinner. Oh my goodness. We should monitor and control the flow of information from the internet, books, magazines, comics, television, programs in our home. Decide what is allowed into the home. We need to monitor what our children are watching on their phones and social media. For the wife, watch your husband too. We don't know what they're watching. Decide how how much time are allowed in TV and internet. But we are also guilty on this, and it's a challenge for us to spend more time in praying instead of Facebook. The sixth way of strengthening family life is to develop Christian peer environments for young people. Age peer environments are important. Peer is same age group of our children. Peer groups are a powerful force in the lives of young people. We do not seek to avoid this, but to redirect them. Hindi natin sila kailangan diktahan kung ano gagawin nila. I mean, just, I think this is better doing this way rather than doing that way. And always advise them, did you pray before you decide what to do? Let's make it a habit so that we can instill it in their mind, in their heart. We should strive to get our children to join family ministries, Kids for Christ, Youth for Christ, Singles for Christ, so they could develop strong supportive relationship with their own peers and would understand and be tied intimately into the life of the large body, which is Couples for Christ. Now, the seventh, malapit na po. The seventh and last way of strengthening family life is to become better pastors of our children. Parents must work actively to train and form their children in Christian faith and character. We must be aware that it's our responsibility as parents to raise and train our children to help them fulfill their God's-given destiny and not to make them what we want them to be. Pabayaan natin sila. Our ultimate goal is to train them for life. I just remember when my dad is an architect, he's also a civil engineer. And then my eldest sister, she took up interior design. And then my kuya, he took architecture. And then my turn is, I don't have any choice. I have to take civil engineering. Kung alam ko lang napupunta ako dito sa Amerika, di sana nag-nursing ako. Di ba? Mas baka naka-Jaguar pa yung dinadrive ko sa sakyan niya. Our ultimate goal is to train them for life, imbued with Christian ideals and values. We should give them our Christian heritage. Prayer is essential. Teach our children how to pray, personal as well as family prayer. Let's make it a habit. I know it's really hard to get them to do our family prayer, but if you do it more often, they will get used to it. So brothers and sisters, I have a question. So brothers and sisters, when was the last time you talked to your children about God? Not unless napari yung anak nyo. Let's talk about it. We should pastor our children and thank God every day. Prayer is not an option, but an essential part in raising our families. Brothers and sisters, if I can share some of my proudest moment, when I saw my 4 children, I have 4 boys. When I saw them, when they are in Kids for Christ, Youth for Christ, Singles for Christ, I can see them singing, praising God, leading the worship, leading the youth camp. And when you're talking about experience of heaven, for me and my wife, our feelings are, we felt like heaven on earth. That's what we felt. CFC is our way of life. And we found God's love in Couples for Christ. I remember when I was we're doing an assembly, and I have this, what do you call that? Stroller, a double one, because my fourth and my third and my fourth son is there. So while during the assembly, I just was walking with the stroller while listening to the talk like that. I remember that in St. Euphrasia. So let's get our children involved so that you can experience the same thing. Our two eldest sons is already married, and they found their GGs in Couples for Christ. Pope John Paul said in Familiaris Consortio, the future of humanity passes by the way of family. We need to strengthen Christian family life to defend God's creation and to renew the face of the earth. During this pandemic, God gave us more time to develop and change our lives for the better. Family is a gift, brothers and sisters, and it is God's greatest masterpiece because we are His creation. Remember, brothers and sisters, again, look at your spouses. For those that doesn't have it, think about them. Remember this, when things don't go your way, remember your wedding day. That's the only thing. And strive to bring Christ in our own family, and may our families become an inspiration for our other families to follow. God bless Couples for Christ. Alright. Alright.